Is now the right time to buy Solana for short, medium, and long term profits. There's a particular pattern unfolding, and if it unfolds, it's likely we're going to see Solana go above $15, $20, and maybe even further. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's look at the technical analysis on Solana. We are looking at a 1 hour chart on Solana, but there's something very special happening. And if it unfolds the way I'm going to describe, it looks like we might see Solana showing some really bullish behavior. Now, markets tend to move in 5s and 3s. It's the psychology of buying and selling, and it tends to repeat itself. But what we have over here is this movement to the downside, and then this initial move to the upside, which currently looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and some type of wave 5 unfolding. Now, what you refer this to as is something called an overbalance of price. Now, what I mean by that is if we look at the size of the movements to the upside in this downward movement, these are the movements to the upside. This is clearly a bigger move to the upside than any former move to the upside. That is what you call an overbalance of price. It's something that W.D. Gann, one of the forefathers of technical analysis, said it's a sign that the buyers are coming back into the market. It's an early bullish signal that this low may hold short-term, medium-term, and maybe even long-term. And Solana has been on an extreme downward trend since November last year, and recently it got pushed down because of all the negativity around. But fundamentally, it's still a strong project. So could this be the end? So let's look at this from a technical perspective on buying and selling behavior. Now, I also want to emphasize, we always want to go in the direction of the trend. So I've created this trend identifier dashboard, and it tells us the weekly trend, which is the bigger trend, is currently strong and it's bullish. But the immediate daily trend, which is the smaller trend, is overbought and tells us that the upside should be limited. So I don't want to buy Solana until this also shows bull uptrend, right? And it might take a few more days, it might take 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, maybe even a week. Really, really important, because what I'm going to anticipate is likely to happen is some type of 5-way move to the upside. Looks like it's pretty much there. Looks like a wave 1, some type of wave 2, some type of wave, maybe even this might be even a wave 3, 4, 5. And if it unfolds in a clear fashion, and it seems to be, but we don't have to guess, we can just wait and see. And if we just put it like so, then what I would love to see, my favorite condition, if I just tweak it like this, I just want to move it so we can see it like this, is something called an A-B-C correction. How I think of the markets is a bullish sprint, like a sprinter running 100 meters, and then it needs a breather, and it has some type of correction. And the correction that I want to wait for, the ideal would be some type of A, B, C correction. It's my favorite. There's some other things that we want to take into consideration, but keeping it really, really simple, what the 2 factors as a minimum I would like to see before I'm going to buy the heck out of Solana and look to really ride it long for weeks, if not months, because this could be the beginning of a trend. Now, we don't know if it's going to be, but it's highly probable, is that the daily momentum shows a bull uptrend. And by the way, if you haven't taken advantage of the trend identifier dashboard, you can now trial it for 30 days for £1. If you like it, it's £9.97 thereafter. I create a whole training on how to use it, how to set it up, how to use it for multiple assets. You can use it for 20 assets at the same time, but it's really, really powerful as a simple tool to say, I'm going to wait for the higher trend or the bigger trend and the smaller trend to point in the same direction. And right now, as of this moment, they're pointing in opposite directions. The higher trend is up, but the lower trend is down. And what that tells us is that at some point in the next day or so, we are likely to get some type of correction. And if we do get a classic ABC correction and the daily trend, the smaller trend, does the momentum point up, now both trends are pointing up. It's called double time frame momentum. That's a really powerful indication that we're going to get followed through. And then a simple entry strategy, the one that I'm going to look for, is either this wave C tends to break down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in itself. So we can go long on a swing high, or be a bit more conservative and go long above a major swing high over here. And with a stop loss no lower than this point, but more than likely we can get it tighter to this point over here. So Solana, I'm just going to zoom out for a second. I'm going to go into a daily chart. I'm just going to show you a very high level picture. In fact, I might even go to a weekly chart. I want to show you a very high level macro picture of Solana. And this could be, I'm not saying it is, it could be the end of a major downward trend. And this could be the beginning of an upward trend that might last days, weeks, maybe even months, maybe even many months, possibly. So with obviously ups and downs in between. So let's just have a look at a weekly chart. I'm just going to dive into a weekly chart from here. I'm just going to reset it here so we can just see this information like so. And this is what we're looking at. So with, what was this? January 2021, obviously Solana has gone through a very extreme bullish market. Like with everything else, November it topped. It was around $260 that we can see over here. And then it's gone through this, what looks like to be a very big correction. I know it's been very deep, especially because of the negative news tail end of last year, everything with the whole FTX fiasco. But this could be the potential end of this major trend. So it's really oversold right now because, with all that panic selling, it really drives the price really down. It went below $10. As we anticipated, it went to $8, almost like $7. And it's likely at some point in the future, not overnight, right? Not overnight, some point in the long-term future, medium long-term, months if not years, this high is probably going to get exceeded if the Solana project succeeds. But what I'm focused on is the immediate moves. We don't need to focus on it going to $260 again. What I'm really focused on is actually just the next few weeks. Seeing this kind of movement, just like that. We can make some serious money over here and make some serious money over here. Then we'll probably get some type of correction again. And we can also make money on the way down and on the way down, and then a continuation to the upside. So that's what we're looking at for Solana. So to stack the odds in your favor, take advantage of the trend identifier dashboard. It basically makes it easy. I've been trading for 15 years. Sometimes it's difficult to use multiple time frames on multiple indicators, etc. Here we've just simplified it, and I've coded it in so the dashboard actually tells you what to do. So the way I've created it is over here where it says what to do. Well, here right now, it says stand aside. And why I've programmed that in is basically when the shorter time frame and the longer time frame are pointing in opposite directions, it's not the highest probability to take action there and then. Unless there's other information that's overriding the momentum and you've got the experience, we just want to stand aside. But when this momentum over here turns bullish, and again, it's all factored in, it does it automatically, this will then change to consider buying. And if over here we do get that ABC correction, then we've got a high probability trade setup. So you can now test this out for £1. It's pretty cool. 30 days. And if you like it, then it's $9.97 thereafter. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's keep a very, very close eye on Solana. Look at the long this, very hard. We only risk 2% per trade. But then if it really takes off, there's going to be a lot of compounding opportunities. And if that new trend does take off to the upside, the trend is your friend. Ride it until its end, until it reaches that spend. So let's finish with a quote from my book. Let's go with chapter 8 today. It's going to be Henry Ford. This one's in relation to the trend identifier dashboard, right? Because everything in life is difficult before it's easy. So it takes practice. And this one is really relevant. Henry Ford said the following: "It has been my observation that most people get ahead during the time that others waste. At some point, we don't know exactly when, the whole crypto market is going to go into another aggressive bull market. Some anticipate is in the next few months, some anticipate in the next few years. Whenever it is, we can get the practice in now, get the skill set in now, so the preparation meets the opportunity, and there's going to be lots of opportunity on the long side and on the short side. And then we just want to rinse and repeat with acceptable capital exposure and tight risk management. So take action, and I'll see you soon, and we'll keep a close eye on Solana."